Yeah, November in the Big Ten, the more you add teams, I think November becomes more and more important. Here we are late. We have some division titles on the line. It's a lot of fun right now, Rick.
And one of the biggest stories, not just in the Big Ten, but in the entire country this year, the run of your alma mater, the Iowa Hawkeyes. 10-0, hosting Purdue this weekend on Senior Day. Iowa can become the first Big Ten team to clinch a division. They play the 11 local time, noon Eastern game against the Boilermakers. Chuck, anytime 10 up, 10 down, and you're still unbeaten, you have to have singular players, difference makers on both sides of the ball, and Iowa has exactly that, with C.J. Beathard on offense and Desmond King on defense.
Yeah, they're my two MVPs for this Iowa football team, starting with C.J. Beathard. We should call him the extended play MVP, too. I mean, there's no better quarterback in the country that has extended plays when everything's broken down. Because of the way he's extended plays, they've beaten Iowa State, they've beaten Pittsburgh, they've beaten Wisconsin. Those are three teams that could have beat Iowa without C.J. Beathard and extending football plays with his feet. Everybody knows he's got a live arm, but it's what he's done with his legs that's made the difference in this football team.
And what he's done with his head as well. Remember, he's made a couple of very smart late game decisions, most notably in that Pitt game, getting down late to make sure that Iowa had enough time for Marshall Kane to come on and try that game-winning 57-yard field goal. He's also tough, Chuck. He has been playing with a bad groin and injuries basically since the third or fourth game of the season.
And that permeates through your football team. All of a sudden your quarterback's playing hurt and he's fighting through it. There's nobody in the training room. You know, those guys are in the training room that have little ailments. All of a sudden they're on the football field because, hey, if our quarterback's doing it, I need to get out there too. And that's what happens, and that's what's happening with this Iowa football team.
On the other side of the ball, Desmond King, among the nation's leaders in interceptions, also has an impact on special teams. And truthfully, Chuck, the Iowa defense has not been great as of late. Minnesota put up a ton of yards through the air as well. But you know, at least on one side of that field, when Desmond King is in man coverage, he locks down that opposing wide receiver.
He does, and you have a lockdown corner like Desmond King, you could do so much more with the other 10 guys, and that's what Iowa's doing. Now, teams are starting to throw away from Desmond King, but you have to give him the MVP on defense. He has 8 interceptions. He's been a game breaker. Also, you mentioned special teams, Rick. How many times have you seen the opponent see some momentum? Then he has a big punt return or a kick return to get the momentum right back for Iowa. That's why he's Iowa's defensive MVP, just for that reason.
It's very clear why Iowa is the prohibitive favorite to knock off Purdue this weekend. The game is at Kinnick Stadium, where Iowa plays so well. It's also Senior Day. There's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of pressure as Iowa tries to move one step closer to a spot in the Big Ten title game and potentially a spot in the college football playoff. You foresee any potential issues for the Hawkeyes in this one?
Well, I think you mentioned on your radio program earlier, Rick, Senior Day. Yeah. Senior Day is an issue. You know, I wish they'd do Senior Day and do that after the game with the parents and the fans that want to hang around, because there's something about not playing well on Senior Day. That's throughout the country because your concentration's a little bit off. The other issue is David Blau of Purdue. Now, Mitch Leidner lit up Iowa pretty good in the passing game. And one of the weaknesses I thought going into the season for Iowa's defense was their pass defense. And it's starting to rear its ugly head a little bit late. David Blau of Purdue is going to throw the football. I think they have no choice but to do that. Let's see if Iowa's defense can rebound after Minnesota and stop that. But I think they're going to put the ball in the air.